We're now going into our new session where we are having 3 panelists, and I'll be able to introduce them in a short while. They will be able to share something interesting about their experience, what they've learned in their careers, and even as they explore entrepreneurship. I would like to urge you all to be attentive, to be ready with your questions, because they want to give us their real life experiences, and I'm sure from there we can draw a lesson or two. So starting as of on my left, they're actually all on my left, so I'll just start immediate left, is, and he's not new to most of us from Nairobi Central, he's Mr. Masengeli, and I fondly call him Elder Masengeli, so you'll indulge me a bit today.
Aye.
So Gilbert Masengeli is a seasoned career police officer with over 35 years of experience. I don't know when we're looking at our years of experience with yours, there's still a long way to go from our end. Prior to his appointment, he was the commandant at the National Police College, Embakasi A campus. He has been a certified fraud examiner. He has experience in many areas. The Special Operations Group of the Border Police Unit, where he's coordinated multi-agency special security operations, and the Assistant Inspector General of Police, where he's developed strategies for threat mitigation and advised on security deployments along border points. He has risen from Senior Superintendent of Police to Commissioner of Police. He has quite an illustrious career, and I am sure you'll be able to see the bio that will be projected on our screens. But in summary, in his career, he's also received several prestigious awards, including the Moran of the Order of the Burning Spear, the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya, and the Silver Star of Kenya. He is currently the Acting Inspector General of Police of the National Police Service. So I'll just ask him to wave and say something small.
Thank you. Maybe a correction.
Yes, please.
I was appointed Acting Inspector General of Police, but currently I'm the Deputy Inspector General of Administration of Police.
All right. So there's a correction where he said he's currently the Deputy General, right?
Deputy Inspector General, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of the Inspector General. So thank you so much for that correction. And we'll get to learn more about it. In fact, I would like to know how I'm able to venture into such a field. Then next on his left, we have Mr. Silato. I'm very excited to, just to have him here. I have very many questions from my end because I tried to dabble in entrepreneurship and got scared a little bit. So I'm hoping he'll give me some sort of encouragement. He has quite a very diverse background. He is an entrepreneur, a visionary one. He is a technology strategist and corporate leader with a proven track record in business development, IT solutions, and strategic expansion across Africa. I think you heard from the last session we had about embracing technology, and I'm seeing from his very interesting bio that he's someone who's done that already. He serves currently as the CEO and founder of multiple successful ventures, so please take note of that, prepare your questions, including Silda Enterprise Limited, Dalkinas Company, Gemnet, and DL Tour and Company Advocates. His leadership across these diverse enterprises has positioned him as a key player in technology, legal services, and corporate innovation. Beyond his corporate ventures, because he's a man of many talents, I presume, he's committed to mentorship, leadership development, and creating business solutions that drive economic growth. His ability to merge technology with strategic business execution makes him a respected thought leader and catalyst for progress in Africa's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Please, you can greet our participants today.
Good morning.
Is it morning?
Still afternoon, sorry.
Are we that well fed that we have forgotten the time? All right. And then finally, on the extreme left, we have FCPA Rose Osoro. She is a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, married with 5 adult children. She has a strong passion for ministry and is a qualified master guide and chaplain. She served in very many capacities in the church. For example, the children's ministry leader, Vocation Bible School, adventurers, chaplaincy, and treasury. On a professional level, she is an award-winning governance and public finance management specialist. So please take note of that, even as you're preparing your questions for this session. She serves on the boards of various blue-chip companies and is a mentor and a coach who desires to serve the youth. Her life motto is like the Adventurer's Pledge: because Jesus loves me, I will always do my best. So please, you can greet our participants today.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here.
So to start us off, and this is mostly for my sake, because I have very many questions, I just wanted to know, Elder Masengeli, where did you grow up?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Masengeli Gilbert is my name, as the moderator has just said. I was born in a little village known as Yalusi in Bungoma, Webuye. That's the place I was born, and I grew up in that area, in that primary school. When I graduated to joining Form 1, then I went to Nakuru Town High. After that, I went for my degree, that is undergraduate at Dedan Kimathi. Later on, currently, I'm doing my PhD in international relations. But before then, I was born in a staunch Adventist family where I gained my values like honesty, kindness, and teamwork to others. Thank you.
All right. Are you the firstborn? You seem to me like a firstborn.
I am not the firstborn. In fact, I'm the key holder. I'm the lastborn.
Oh, really? Okay. It does not show. How many siblings?
We have 8 siblings.
Okay.
4 girls and 4 boys.
And so you're the last?
I'm the last.
Okay, all right. Are you doted on?
Yes?
Are you doted on by your older siblings? Do
No.
they treat you specially?
No, they are elderly. Yeah.
Okay.
But then some of them have passed on.
All right.
Yeah, maybe God willing, sometimes we'll meet with them when we reach there.
Okay. All right. And Mr. To, where did you grow up?
Yeah, so generally, as everyone, grew up in the village. I grew up in a village called Moiben. It's in Uasin Gishu County. Moiben sub-location. I'm a second born of 4 siblings. I attended a primary school called Toloita Primary School. It's in a village as well. Then proceeded for my secondary school in Nandi Hills called Samoe High School. And then I did Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Software Engineering in Kenyatta University. Then I later went up to Belgium for another program. And then back to Kenya, I did another master's in Information Technology. And currently, I'm also still learning. I'm still doing courses pertaining my career. I'm doing a micro MBA in Strathmore. Okay. As everyone has said, I was born in an Adventist family.
All right.
Right.
Okay, interesting. What I am picking, and I hope we are picking, is that learning is a lifelong lesson for them, even as you're looking at their careers. And over to you, Rose.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name, as you've been told, is Rose Osoro. I was born in Kisii, to an Adventist home. And I left before I was 20 years old. Actually, I came to university in Nairobi. I never went back because I got married soon after. So that's why I grew up. My primary school, my secondary school in Kisii, and then I came to university in Nairobi. And over time, I used to say that is where I come from, but I'm more of a Nairobi person now than anywhere else. Depending on the years that I've lived, it's going to a quarter of them having lived in the village. So I don't know whether I qualify to be a Nairobi person or I still remain my happy place, because always where I was born is my happiest place on earth. I don't know where I belong to. currently, but that is who I am. I'm a second born in a family of 6. As you've said, I got married very early. I got my first child when I was about 20, not by default, it was by design. And here I am, several years later. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that brief introduction. So just based on, I think I've heard Bungoma, Moiben, and Kisii. I have not been to Bungoma. I feel very sad now that I'm from Western and have not been there, but I think it's something I need to work on. So just based on your background, how would you say that has sort of inspired you in terms of shaping your upbringing, your views on work and career?
I think right from the beginning, first of all, being an Adventist, and I've been a children ministry leader, we are lucky to have the environment that we have. You've got a learning environment right from the beginning. If you walk out there, you'll see the adventurers, the pathfinders, all of them, they keep learning. And that is what actually, that is the program that I went through as a young girl growing up in the village, because I knew you've got to go to church, you've got on Sunday, you need to go back again for clubs and all that. So that aspect of getting to know that you need to be organized, that you need to continue learning all the time, actually opened the spirit of hard work within myself. So I really work hard as a person, and I'm not saying that I work hard on opportunities that God has provided, because I recognize at the end of the day, it's God who is in control in almost everything that I do. So those little traits that this church, the way we bring up our children determines who they become. Like to an extent, like when I was in charge of children ministry, I knew all my children will pass exams and no one failed. All of them in Nairobi East, we were there. All of them, and I'm sure it replicates even in this church. When you read those ones who have done well, most of them are from our church. It's because of the background that we have. And that is the background that sets us as adults. That is what has given me as an individual a place to stand. That one of hard work, being disciplined. And remembering those little rules. They look like rules and laws. My best one is that one. Because Jesus loves me, I will always, and I underline, I will always do my best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will skip Mr. To and come to you, Elder Masengeli. How has your upbringing shaped your views on work and career?
Thank you. It has been so dynamic because, truly speaking, at the young age, at my village from Yalusi, Bungoma, reaching a certain level, Nzoia comes in, Nzoia Sugar Company, shifts my parents. We all move now looking for other place now to live because the farm and the land that they had has now been leased out. We had to shift to those sides of Nzoia, and on arrival in Nzoia, we had to practice farming and both large scale, and at one moment you had to plan very well because planning is so critical in that you have to time yourself with the rains. You have to ensure that you are on top of things, because if you don't plan well, then you will not harvest after planting. And also, we could ensure that teamwork. And now, apart from planting and harvesting, so what? You look for the market as well, where to sell so that you get back something. And also, something to eat and something to survive as business. By so doing, it has really assisted us by ensuring and also teaming up with others, because we had no machineries, all of them that could do that. So at some moment we could go, for those who have, we hire. At the same time, after now harvesting, we look for the ones that we'll use for as domestic and others that could be used for other business. And all these calls for teamwork now, coordination and proper planning. With that, you cannot be an independent without interdependence.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I've had hard work, I've also heard about interdependency and teamwork. So, Mr. To, how did your upbringing shape your views on career and work?
Yeah. So for me, I think my parents were very tough growing up, and coming from a village where there is large-scale farming, and then he used to tell us, everything that I have, there's none for you here. My dad used to work in a university, so every morning he used to tell us, you have to work hard. And I remember during tuition time, he will take us to university, pair us with other, children from other faculty members and all that. That's the time I started, getting interest in education. Personally, when you are growing up in primary and secondary, you are directionless because the agenda is to go to school, it's mandatory, you just finish and go home. So in the year 2000, I think that was the year when there was a computer era. And I remember we used to go to these tuitions and play games with the computers. So the interest arose from there when I started now learning more about doing computers and getting interest about how the computer brain works and all that. And later, but earlier in the back, my idea was to be a pilot, which I still believe I will be. Okay. If not, I will own one. So that idea went through. I didn't manage to go to pilot school. So I pursued education. All my siblings went through the same. But the agenda of going back to campus to do engineering, software engineering, was because in the village, everything was about the computer era that moment. And it was not about, I know parents were telling us, do engineering, do medical, legal, and all that. But the interest came because everyone was about, computers. And I'd actually had an interaction with a computer playing on a, playing pool, pool table in computers. So that time, it was not common, and I used to learn how things can happen in a screen rather than on a real service where you can actually touch. So to date, I still appreciate my little growing up from my village. And unfortunately, most of my area village chose to be farmers. Okay. To date, they are still farmers, big-time farmers. We are counted actually for those who did engineering and computer science like us. So that was the path.
Okay.
Where we grew up.
Was there any, because you talked about 2000 and technology, was there anyone you were looking up to aspire, or you were just trying it out?
I was actually trying. You see, again, in Adventist, we are told Jesus is coming, in the year 2000. And everything was about computers.
Okay, all right.
So the interest was actually from this computer. Whether the computer will shut down, because again, everything is going back, the interest came from there.
Okay, all right. And to you, FCPA Rose, how did you manage to start in your career? Did you have a particular person that inspired you, or a conversation with someone?
Many people, especially when you have a listening ear. First thing that ever influenced me, during our time, if you went to campus and became a teacher, you actually got a job. You were employed by TSC immediately after campus. And coming from a background where our family actually required more money, that could have been the best thing for me to do, go and do education. But unfortunately, I was not selected to go and do education. That time when you are selected, you actually do what you're selected for. There's no room for maneuver. You can't change. You go to university, if they tell you you do anthropology, I've seen one talking about anthropology, that anthropology is the one that you do. So I find myself in the University of Kenyatta University doing Bachelor of Arts. And we used to call it Bachelor of anything, like there was Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Science, but this was Bachelor of Art that we could call Bachelor of anything. And I knew that for me to get myself out of there, I needed to be kind of extraordinary. I didn't fight it back. I know my friends who fought back and they were moved to the education department because it meant they would get a job thereafter. I said, I am going to work around what God has given me. And that is exactly what I did. By the time I graduated from campus, I had 2 diplomas already by the side, because I knew if I go with a bachelor of anything to any employer, the employer can't give me a job. The employer will only give me for the add-ons that I already have. So by the time I finished, I had 2 diplomas on personnel management that time. And I was now ready to go and face the market. And I knew specifically what I wanted to do. In campus, if you do very well, you are a bright student, the lecturers surround themselves around you to tell you, now we'll give you a scholarship, you come back and do masters. I told them I'm not going to do masters, not now. I'm going to do masters, but not now. Because I knew if I do masters, then I'm going to end up being a teacher. I said I'm going back into industry and I must go out there and work in industry. That's how I ended up now doing CPA, CPS. That's how I entered into that field of finance out of default. I did Bachelor of Arts, Sociology and History in campus. But you ask me those things now, I don't have them. They got lost along the way. But people tell me they build my finesse because I can be able to communicate. I can be able to get to understand the history, the dynamics of people, groups of people, which most of the science people don't have. Yeah, thank you.
Can I rightly conclude that while you're saying that you did not practice it, the Bachelor of Arts, it provided you with the right foundation to be able to build up on other things?
Exactly. I don't regret the many papers that I did, the many learnings that I did. All of a sudden, I was required to work extra hard to excel. That was the base of everything else. Whatever I am today, it's because I worked in those campus days. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. And to you, Elder Masengeli, I'm actually very interested because I don't know anyone with a background in yours. You're the first person I'm meeting. So I would like to know what inspired you to pursue this career?
Thank you. Yeah, the journey to becoming a police officer was not premeditated. Mm-hmm. While I was back in school, I thought I could become maybe an engineer or a teacher because we really respected teachers in our village.
Yes.
But still, while I was still a little boy looking after the hearts of my parents, at some point you could see people running across the river. Then when one reaches you, you ask, why are you running? Then the word is police. Then you join the wagon of running away. At the top hill, you find that they were running after the police because of that police brutality. Mm-hmm. They get hold of you, they beat you up, mm-hmm. But later on, I found myself going for a recruitment exercise after being laid off as an untrained teacher. There's some point where the president, His Excellency, the late President Moi, laid off some teachers because of the schools not doing well in Rift Valley. Mm-hmm. I was one of the UT untrained teachers by then, practicing, awaiting to join Form 5 and 6. But little did I know that in that transition, I could get a job by just going to the field. And I was a footballer at that young age. That propelled me also when I went to the field for exercise of selection. I managed to be in a good number at the end of the day. Then I found myself having been recruited.
Oh, okay.
And now I found myself being a police officer after training. And we've gone through many stages. Okay. But initially, it was not premeditated.
Okay, you just happened to find yourself and you took advantage of it and grew. All right, interesting. Who would you say has been the most influential person that has shaped your career? I'll start with you.
Sure. At the young stage, my parents and my elder siblings were very influential. The time we could put our heads under their roof. At some point, you could hear that sound of early morning in the KBC radio, Amka Kumekuja. Then you could just know, no sleeping anymore. 2 minutes, you are woken up. You rush to the school. Now, that was a trend. We had to learn about that, but still, that urge of teamwork, working together, eating together, and if you are late from coming and joining them to eat together, then you could find yourself nowhere. Going to the farm, You could call, when it's Sunday, you call all of you guys together. And you have to work because you'll get your portion. You have to cultivate that area till you finish it. And to some point, you had to make sure you have to team up, you have to work hard and ensure that. But on workplace now, the influential guys are the guys who are doing better and the very best in the service.
Okay, so what I've heard also is that there was no room for laziness
Sure.
in your home household.
No, you
All
couldn't
right.
survive.
Okay, interesting. Who would you say, Mr. To, was the most influential person in your shaping your career?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost was my mother. My mother has been a businesswoman since I knew. And when I joined employment, my first employer was a university. I met one professor who was actually, he held up my hand and told me, I know you've done software engineering in campus, but where I want to put you is not relating to your academic, but I will want you to do something there. So he threw up me in the library.
Oh.
So, and I thought probably I will now start wiping books and, you know, that perspective of your degree. Actually, what came into my mind then was, this is a brain in the drain, where everything that I've learned is now going to wastage. So when I joined, he told me now I need to develop a platform for libraries to access, and that university had over around 15 branches. So we developed a solution, and based on that, the opportunity came. A funder, an organization that funded the project to expand, which was from Belgium. Then I met my mentor, my first mentor now, who is a Belgian, who had 12 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Egbert de Smith. So he pushed me so hard to develop a platform that was not necessarily for Africa, but for them in Europe. That is Belgium and the universities in Belgium. So, but when I came back home, I was appointed again by a consortium of universities to be the chair and to lead in terms of negotiating for e-content in the region. So we used to meet publishers in Europe, negotiate for content for Kenyan market. And content in this case, I'm talking about electronic books and e-journals. So that was in 2013, 2014. Then when I met another gentleman, who is now my current partner, who was actually a representative also from India. And we saw a niche, and we came up now developing a solution that was really a pain point to give access to resources remotely. So we developed a platform. So then he pushed me and told me, you have to resign from your employment. And it was a tough decision for me to make. But the beauty is my wife stand by me, and he told me, yes, I will support you. I will pay the bills.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I will, as long as you try. So I left my employment without notice. To date, I have never collected even my due. But I think I will go back soon. So from then we started looking at business from that direction, building solutions for universities and colleges, and we didn't knew that it was the right solution at that moment. It took like a different trajectory and getting more needs in the market as well. So we grew up very fast to an extent of getting over 500 clients in Africa. So that is when I realized, oh, I'm in business.
Okay.
But previously, I was just trying like everyone else. Yeah, so that has been my genesis. I think my mother was the most crucial when she was pushing me for this, and she's been telling me, try, I know you can. And then also my wife and my mentor.
All right, interesting. You said something that I wanted to just maybe drill down on, and you said circumstances pushed you from employment to entrepreneurship. Where did you get your first source of capital? Now that you did not
To be honest, I never had a capital to start with. I think the social capital is what I had. I used to visit and to ask institutions if the solution works, then you pay.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, leave it. So that is, I never had a capital to start with. But people, of course, was my capital investment.
Were you working with someone in particular to develop the solutions?
Sorry?
Were you working with a partner to develop the solutions?
My partner was pushing me to do it.
Oh, okay.
I was also pushing him to do it
Okay.
on his end. And
What I ask is, was there an agreement between the two of you that you'll perhaps delay in terms of getting your income as you push to explore?
no, initially there was no agreement. It was just mutual agreement in courts, not informal.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that interesting background. And to you, FCPA Rose, whom would you say has been the most influential in your career?
One person.
It can be many.
My primary school teacher. The one who taught me from class 1, as we never used to go to nursery school those days, from class 1 to class 4. By the time I was in standard 4, I had under his care, it's called Nyagitari, is my friend to date. I had read every single book that was in the Kasmoa village library that was there, under his care. I think and he actually knows, that is a person who influenced who I am today. Like I can be able to study, I'm able to remain focused. If I take a book, I read, I love reading a lot. All that came at that point that I met the teacher that I met that time, lower primary school teacher. Okay. And he followed me because those days there were local primary school teachers. So it took me from class 1 to class 3. Ideally, he could have remained in lower primary. He said, no, I'm going with you to the same. So we went to class 4, now being taught by many other teachers, 4, 5. I think he left that school when I was in class 6, and it has been transformational.
Right.
Yeah.
So interesting that you talk about a teacher being influential, and I think Elder Masengeli alluded to it in terms of that's what everyone aspired to when we were growing up, just in terms of looking at teachers and how influential they were. Now, if you were to go back, imagine you have a time machine and you would go back to your 18-year-old self just before you are entering campus or pursuing a career, what advice would you give your younger self? I'll start with you.
It is scary.
Why?
How the uncertainty that time. But I'm doing a bachelor of anything, first of all. Jobs in this country are not coming by any soon. And I'm a mother already. Could I just say that by the grace of God, can I remain where I am?
There's nothing you would tell your younger self.
It's a journey. It's a journey, and it's a journey of uncertainty. You actually don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. But by faith, by remaining focused, by looking for those opportunities, not looking for grabbing those opportunities, because opportunities are like windows. They go like this. If you miss it, you will have to wait for it to come around again, as it does like this. You're able to pick those opportunities as you move forward. And with the guidance of God, because sometimes you will be picking something you think is an opportunity, then it turns out to be something else. So with the guidance of God, I think if 18 years, I surely could not leave the presence of God, because I know what it means. I know what it means. So is that it? I hope I've not scared you. The thing is, the road ahead is pretty well. The road ahead is good. It's a journey that we need to walk one day at a time. Okay. But we need to do that with faith, understanding, listening, all your ears, 360 scanning, so that you can be able to move forward. You blink like this, the world will leave you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Toa, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
So if you are to take me back to 18 years, I think one thing I will do, currently I've done many mistakes.
Yes.
In business, that if I go back, I will try to streamline. To myself, I will start immediately business after campus. I will not want to be employed. But I don't know from you, If you like to do business, I will always say, don't put a foot in employment and another foot in business. You will not make it. You just have to choose one. If you want to do business, focus on that and start immediately. So for myself, I will immediately go back to roots and start proper business as it should be.
Okay, so you'll go back and be a very confident entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. And to you, Elder Masengeli, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Thank you. For sure, sometimes experience is the best teacher. And with experience, you can never hand over. Lou, if I would urge the young Masengeli today, is that to embrace self-uncertainty, because there are no careers that have linear progression. They are always so dynamic. And also to assure that the faith is not just rigid on a blueprint. So the 3 A's, you have to accept, you have to adjust, and you have to advance. Because in this regard, in most cases, humility, humbleness, and also being flexible. If you would ask yourself between water and rock, which is stronger? Perfect. But another one will tell me might be a rock. So in this, I would like to say that patience is the strongest weapon one might have. And also, with wisdom is the richest wealth that we can get. Also, bearing in mind, faith should also be there as our weapon.
Okay. You've talked on wisdom, and I just wanted you to maybe give me a bit more color. How do you obtain wisdom?
Wisdom, you just get it from God. By humbling yourself before God, asking His divine intervention, and also doing what you are supposed to do. And when you do to others, it done to you, you don't feel offended.
Okay, thank you. I think we've had quite a very elaborate background of our 3 panelists, and I'd like us to move to the second session, where now we align in terms of talking about the career and business shift in the 21st century, faith at work. So this is where the rubber meets the road, and we get to just understand more in terms of what you are currently doing. I would like to urge you, please continue sending your questions in Mentimeter so that we can ask our panelists as we go on. So to you, FCPA Rose, what notable changes have you witnessed in careers and the world of work in this century?
Thank you. Even having done history and sociology, I still consider myself a scientist. What fits me now is math. Accounting. And the shifts that I've seen in my lifetime, probably I never read any of that shifts in history. I have seen us moving from mathematical tables. Anybody who knows a mathematical table?
Log table.
You do? To calculators, to computers now, softwares, sophisticated ones. That is the shift that we see. To an extent now, like a class 8 goes into an exam room with a calculator. I don't know whether to go add 4 and 5, something that we never used to hear about. That shift is evident. But essentially what has happened? What has happened is that what you spoke when you started, there are no jobs for life. I find it a little intriguing that you actually, and I see it with my daughters. My daughters get their jobs on LinkedIn. Is it called LinkedIn? That's where they get their jobs from. Somebody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going for work. You try to understand the job they are doing, you really cannot understand. Most of the time they are working from home. How does that happen? You know, as parents of our older generation, those are the shifts that we are actually seeing. And we are seeing them in the workplace. The ones who are telling you, I am going to work from home. If you insist I come here, then I'm not coming. I won't come, because they are not as deprived as we were before. You know, some of us, if you say you're not coming to work, where else do you go? Then they probably have a house back to their parents' home and they fold and they go. Or they've made plans. So that shift, one that I see most is that one, like, there's no job for life. I've worked in the same organization since I was 26, and I'm going to retire there. I've had interludes here and there going out of the organization, but I've worked from there since age 26, and I'm going to retire in that organization. I'm almost certain that that is going to happen. Another thing that has changed is leadership positions are changing. There was a time when we grew up in this city, you will walk to lifts and you will see lifts say job group N and above. And if you are not in job group N, you are not going to enter into that lift. Do you ever see that these days? It has gone. So those leadership positions that people used to hold, if you see your boss from there, you are going to go like this. But now these young people that want to employ these days pass by and they say, hey, hi Rose, how are you? That is something that we never used to think of. And it's a huge shift. That leadership positions, all of a sudden, we are all flat. We are team members. We sit here, we are team member. Even if you are the leader of the member, in fact, the leader is even more servant than the team members, because you need to go down for the members to perform. That is what I see in terms of shift. We have no lifetime jobs, and then this leadership thing is actually ending. These days, and I suspect my daughters could be earning more than I do, and I've done centuries of work, decades of work, but they know how to negotiate their pay, their terms. As we used to go in and you say, we used to call it career progression. You fit into a program that is already there. So if you came in yesterday, there is no way I'm going to pass you because I've come in today. But these days, that shift is broken completely. So you come in, you negotiate your own terms, and you continue working with your own terms. I work for government, and we are being forced to take care of that, because a child will come in and tell you, I am going to take this job, yes, but this is the salary that I need. And you critically need that skill. You're going to take that skill and employ them as you can. So that is the shift for me I've seen, and it's scary. We are living it. The idea that there is no mdosi, these days there is no mdosi. We are all working. You are the CEO, your office is there, and my job is here, and we are all working. That is what I see as the greatest shift in terms of work. Okay, you preempted one question I wanted to ask. You've talked about the flat or lean structure at the workplace and not having a hierarchy. Is that something you have readily embraced, or it has taken time? We have no option, but to embrace it. Because it has come knocking. If it could have come like 10 years ago, probably it could have been a shock. But now we've seen, some of the people who are doing it are our children. They're the ones who are challenging, and we already know how they react. So it has come in slowly but surely, and we know it is a total shift. The workplace is changing totally, completely to something else, that we are now into teams, we are now into the flatter organization. They are not lean, really, but flat. Do your job, go. Do your job, go. Give my assignment, I do. If I have finished it by 8, that is my problem, I go. If I decide to do it at night while you are sleeping, it's my work, I'll do it wherever time I want to do it, and I'll deliver. The point is, have you delivered? Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you for that. So I'll shift to you, Elder Masengeli, just building on what she's talked about, the career shifts. I think I've had technology, there was the gap in terms of demand and supply of jobs. She's talked about the structure in terms of the leadership, and you're in a career where there's a lot of hierarchy and structures. Maybe the first question I'd ask is, the change that she has mentioned, do you see it in your career? That's the first one. And then the second one, with these shifts that we've talked about,
I mean, with these changes that we've seen, what mindset shifts should the young people have to be able to adapt to the current situation at the workplace?
Thank you. The changing professional landscape today demands that young people should not be rigid to one job that they are linear to. And to be specific, is that mental framework is critical in this.
Okay.
What my sister has just talked about is very critical because it is a progress and a way of embracing continuous development by moving from stage one, like police, I could tell, you are a recruit, you are a trained junior officer, you are a trained police officer, then you go through the ranks because of that embracing of continuous learning. And with embracing of the continuous learning will keep you to the framework or to get to where it is. Okay. The other thing that you've asked about the hierarchical structures. Fine, they are there, and with police is a service whereby it's structured in a way, yes is yes or no. In this regard also, we have to, apart from embracing the continuous learning, the way she has said, is also develop that adaptability and good relationship with others, as well as being in a position to ensure that you assist one another. Also embracing that change of mindset. Mindset change in this regard is that now that at school you are focusing to be a teacher. The way I wanted to be a teacher like an engineer, but later on I got the unexpected opportunity that landed to my way and took it up. So whatever you get, make good use of it. And also, don't just go to school and say, now I have the papers, I can sit and wait for the job to get you. So, is you to get the job or the job is to get you? It depends. Kuna wengine kazi iliwapata na kuna wengine walipata kazi. So, with the background from where I came from, this is a calling whereby you have to work hard to come out of your way to ensure that you do it exemplary to achieve what you want to get.
Do you have anything else to add? Or?
Yeah, there's...
Okay,
yes.
All right. So I think I've heard you've talked about the mental fortitude, adaptability, there's networking, and there's one you keep saying, and I think please take note of this. You've talked about interdependency and just that networking that helps you to be able to adjust to the current environment.
And the innovations as well.
And innovation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll take note of that. And to you, Mr. To, what, as we're talking to young people, what practical steps can we as young people take to build successful and sustainable businesses or careers?
I think at the market right now, we have to look at skills that are relevant in the profession. I'm saying this because at the institutional level, we still see institutions teaching students the ordinary learning. What the needs in the markets are completely different. We have new technologies in terms of how do we read. I remember back when I bought my first phone, and we used to buy airtime at around 500 shillings. Nowadays, it is getting to a point where airtime is not necessary, but we are buying bundles. So if we do not have policies at the national level to help institutions come up with the needs, skill sets for the current market, then there is a problem. I feel that in the market, there is a lot of changing requirements that we have to adapt. And for that, for us to be at par, we have to be continuous learning. We have AI in the market. DeepSeek is just here. Next year, there will be another one, and so many inventions and technologies that will come aside. So, but how do we adapt to that market sector? As most of them have said, panelists here, we have to be continuous, you have to upskill your skill set in the market. Yes, you can have your degree. To be honest, everyone now has a degree. Everyone has masters. Almost everyone is now doing PhD. But what are you doing in the market field? Are you trying to go and solve a particular need in the market side? Or you're just doing your degree just because it's a requirement, probably maybe from your parents and not yourself. So changing requirements are always in the market. Even as for us in the market, we are always at par in terms of trying to make sure that we address the requirements from the users. We receive requests from clients and trying to fit and provide a solution that will work for them. Because unless you do that, then you will be overtaken by event. As you know, now we are in the market of Gen Z. Gen Alpha is about to bubble, which is more critical, I think. And we have to look at what are we bringing them? How will the market consume these people? So I think for now, we can actually look at market skill sets that are relevant as per the requirements in the field.
Okay. I want to ask a little more of a personal question. So I've finished campus. I have this idea. I've written a business plan. I'm coming to you. I have a business plan. I have not tested it. How do I move from the business plan to make it a tangible business?
A question to me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So first and foremost, there are relevant courses online there.
Sorry,
there are courses online that can actually, help you start up. I don't know whether you do Coursera, Udemy. These are platforms that have the best content that each and every employer is looking at. I remember there is a time I went to Europe the first time and I was bragging that I have masters. And I noticed that my degree was just for Kenya. But because I had additional professional courses that I had done before in the market, that actually helps me to think about it. And I will always encourage people, even for a startup, when you want to start up something, you have to do a bit of research. You don't just wake up and do something. Otherwise, everyone is doing it. I remember recently, let me not quote the institute, but I got a call from one vice chancellor and say, Silas, I am tired of hosting my infrastructure in the institution. Please come and take everything. I didn't have where to start. Yes, we are a technology provider, but again, thinking of hosting an institutional data was so big to me. So I end up finding myself in River Road, trying to buy servers. I bought servers, I prepared everything in place, and I was ready to host the content. And yes, when I got in there, I realized, I can also do internet. I can provide internet. Then it started from there. Got 3 or 4 institutions asking, can you supply us with internet, offices, and so forth. So what I'm saying is, things changes from what you actually have right now. Tomorrow is something else. So you have to be open and open-minded person and to be able to accept what is happening in the market.
Okay. Please indulge me, I have another question because I keep getting, so my background is in investments, and one of the questions I keep getting every time when I'm advising people who have startups is, where do I get money from?
I don't believe that money is everything to start up a business, to be honest. If you want to scale, yes, capital will be required. But just if you have an idea, there are many institutions that provide sponsorship for an idea. I used to work at American Corner in Mo University, and I was a program coordinator. And we used to receive a lot of money for incubation, for somebody who just come in and say, I have an idea, but I don't know what to do. And we used to give a lot of money, not in terms of physical cash, but in trying to support the program. And the place is still there in the city center, I think Basa Plaza, 5th floor, where if you have an idea and you do not have plans to start, you don't have a budget, you can just walk in there. They will give you a platform in terms of probably maybe hosting your idea, hosting your audience, facilitating your program and everything, just to start up. So there are always that point, but you have to have a good proposal that actually attracts funding. And they're always there. There are many people outside there, I can tell you for sure, that they do not have opportunity to spend, but they will want to spend in your own idea. And I've seen many companies putting up a proposal for the same, and they have received millions of shillings.
All right, okay, thank you for that very elaborate answer. Now, I think we had Winnie, I think, that was your name, Winnie from Lavington, where she had asked the previous speaker just in terms of how she can be a mentee. So I'm going to just throw this question to all of you in terms of mentor-mentee relation. One, do you have a mentor? And I'll start with yourself, Rose.
Yes, I do, but not one. Many in different fields.
Did you ask them particularly, or did it just come out organically?
It's more of a relationship. They know when they see you, you're going to ask a question. They know when you're going close to them, there's something that you require. And whenever they see something related to what you do, they reach out. So it's not like we have not signed a form that you are my mentee and you are my mentor and I'm your mentee. It's a kind of a relationship that we have. And because not everybody has all the skills that you would require from one person, so for me, I've got different people. I call for different things. Like when I'm down and I need somebody to lift me up, I know who to call. And I know how that conversation, how the effect of that person is going to be on how I move forward. If it's a technical thing, I know who I'm going to ask or to consult in terms of technical issues. Yeah, so I don't have one. But for myself, I've got a mentee that we have signed. Actually, we've got two that we have signed and we keep tracking. Because they belong to an organized organization, and they've been brought to us, so that we've got something that we sign and we track. And there are millions of others because you mentor them because you interact. You mentor them because they are within your vicinity and they reach out to you whenever they've got an issue. So I can't say that. Probably my mentor is God. God is the person who stands there permanent, and these are the ones I plug them in whenever I require their services.
Okay.
Thanks.
And to you, Elder Mesengeli, can I safely assume that you have mentors?
Sure. We have mentors.
Okay.
And in this regard, to me, it just happened organically with time along working and also getting the shared values, the working relationship and the likes made us just found ourselves looking for the best guy who has values like me, but at the end of the day just occurred organically. And also in most cases, when you get a mentor, is a person who will transit you to make those shifts, the paradigm shift from your normal to what you are supposed to be in featuring your work. Also, maybe just to go back a bit, is that prioritizing meaning and the purpose of life, as our brother here has just said, it is important because with the young professionals of the 21st century, it is evident that it erodes the boundaries between the professional and the personal spheres. Here is a calling whereby you have to be ready for anything, any shift. As it comes, you take it the way it comes. But it also needs a lot of agility, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of adaptability. Thank you.
Okay. And to you, Mr. To, I will not ask the question that has been asked, but maybe phrase it a bit differently. How old were you when you had your first mentor?
So my first, I have 3 mentors to begin with: a professional mentor, a spiritual mentor, and a social mentor. In terms of my career, I think my mentor has always been there. I never, when I intended to move to that direction, I went directly to him and request that he should be my mentor. And he graciously accepted, but he has always been giving us also very rough time in business, because he's always telling us the reality and the truth about business. And through that, actually, it's very important that he's always there. Every steps that we normally make as a company, we normally inform him, and he'll always give us an advice on what to do. Not that we can't do it, but all his advice has always been great.
Is your mentor, let's say, on your case, when they ask you to do something, then you're having a next meeting and they ask for follow-up?
He normally follow up, and he normally comes even to the office at times.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and you see, at times you need to also to remunerate mentors. If you in that kind of closeness and you are doing well, then it is a good case here to also pay him back. Yeah. Okay. So, and in terms of spiritual, of course, they're always there. We always work towards pray, together. Whatever we want to make a step, we normally request and ask, and he will always give us advice on the same. But what I can actually say in terms of mentorship is, it is very important, especially if you are doing business, to have a mentor, because it's a reflection of what you do. And because you are on this other side, he's always on the other side, and he'll always give you a true picture of what the market is all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that elaborate answer. Now, in your personal, career, when I'm looking at your professional life, what specific changes have you made to be able to just fit in with the changing landscape? I know we talked about it general, but I would like a bit more color from your end.
Thank you. To me, policing work is not really a job. It's just a calling.
Okay.
It's a calling whereby you have to serve and protect. It's a calling whereby you have to make a choice, a called choice, a choice between two alternatives and the fixed resolve not to quit. A renunciation that one must make not once, neither twice, but you have to make it as many times as you are still on this job. Because as we talk today of the 21st century, everybody's racing against time. Mm-hmm. And whenever you race against time, where speed is power, you have to make sure you do that in order to succeed. And success here knows no limit. You want to succeed today, succeed tomorrow, succeed day after tomorrow. In this regard, all this, family is the pillar. Also, moving near to the Lord by ensuring God guides you all the way along. Initially, I could say that police are not natural, are not human beings, but I came to realize they are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our friends, and they are just human like any other. And also, when you read of 1 Corinthians, is it 1 Corinthians 10:30? Mm-hmm. We do all for the glory of God.
Okay. Thank you for that elaborate answer. I would move over to you, FCPA Rose. What challenges would you say you have personally faced in your career, and how did you overcome them?
The first challenge probably is being a lady working in a men-dominated field. Most times you find like you're the only lady on the table. And it's not an easy thing to, first of all, they kind of don't see that you've come there out of merit. It's probably out of gender aspects. So you need to work more, put more effort than I could believe if you are a man on that table. So for you to stamp your authority, for you to understand, for everybody to understand that you understand what is being discussed, then you actually need to work extra hard. So, we have had sessions all over just trying to tell us that you need to understand your subject matter, you need to read hard, extensively, anticipate the questions, anticipate the issues on the table, be the person who provides solutions so that you can actually gain trust from the people that you work with. So that is how I've been able to manage. Like, you work extra hard, make sure you understand the subject matter, be on top of things, and prepare extraordinarily, and you will actually stand out when you are in those sessions. A friend of mine who is my mentor in the field of sitting in boards told me that the first time she walked into a board meeting, she's much older than me, people were asking, like, what is this young girl coming to do here? They did not understand what she was going to do. So she intentionally decided to read the board backs. They are almost like 1,000 pages. She read every single page. And when questions were being asked, in her heart, she's like, which question are you asking? See, that one is in page 200. That was in page 400. She understood what she was. And that gave her confidence to engage adequately. And for me, that is what I call out. Be sure that I know what I want to do. I know, I understand, so that I can be able to showcase the creature that God created, because I'm God's creature. And is the one who's given me all those capabilities. So when I'm out there, it is workmanship that I'm actually displaying, and I do that with a lot of, with no apology. I'm a child of God. Okay. Yeah, so that is one of the challenges. Another challenge that I have faced is that one of being in a predominantly people Christian, but they are not Adventists. They're Christian and they're not Adventist. It's the divide between Muslim and Christian is almost automatic. But between Christian and Adventist, first of all, they stand up, they say, you are the person who don't do this, who don't do this. And it actually stands out. But for me, I say I am an Adventist first, and everything else goes. So if there is a meeting that is going to be conducted on a Sabbath, they know that I'm not going to be there. If they know they require my services, then they will need to push it to another time. You need to be very particular. And something else that I need to tell every Adventist who works in this city or in this country, the Adventists who are ahead of us, the senior Adventists, starting with the ones who, Erastus Mwanja who started, they created a forum that can make us actually succeed almost in every field. They've got, imagine if you're talking about Maraga, for instance. You're talking about Matiangi. You know, all those people, they've created space to an extent that some of us are even called Matiangi wherever we work, and we are happy about it. The thing is, we stand for what we are because we are Christians, we are Seventh-day Adventists, and there are some, we put boundaries, there are things that we don't do. And because of that, we are known for who we are. For that, and I think it makes life, they can push you aside when they are doing their bad things, but whenever they want work to be done, they will actually call you out, and you'll come and you'll actually work. So for me, those are the few things that I've seen challenges in the workplace, and how we've navigated the same every single day, but prayer has to persist. I work in finance. sorry for being too, I'm an accountant, and if you all know, accountant in government, what do we do? Accountant in government, what do we do? You all know, what do we do?
You audit.
Accountants in government, what do we do? We steal. Now you are being, you're being gentle to me because I'm here. You say, like, people, accountants do what in government? If you're working in government, what do you do? Steal. But here I am. I've worked in the public sector since I was 26, and I have never taken a coin that does not belong to me. And no child of mine has not had school fees or has slept hungry. I stand firm. And that is what I even teach young accountants. I train Institute of Certified Public Accountants. And my topic is known. If you walk into an integrity, professional ethics, and conduct, you will find my name top. Because me, I pronounce it. I say, I work in government. I am not here to steal. I'm here to work for the service of God and humanity. And I'm okay. I am not any different from my friends who I know have stolen, but still they don't sleep at night because they are wondering who is that knocking at the gates. They've put cameras everywhere to be sure they know who's working. Or they've got money they are keeping in their house and they don't know where to keep it because the police will come any other time. He'll come any other time. And pick it up. I have a sleepless, I rest sure because I have not done anything wrong. And it's doable. Not that I have not seen things being done. I have seen, and I can count each one of them, but I'm not in that. And they make sure I am not part of that. So we can survive in this world. Corruption, no corruption, we can actually survive as Seventh-day Adventist in the workplace and navigate comfortably. Thank you.
I want to just drill down on one of the things you've touched on integrity as we are looking to finalize. So you've talked about integrity. What other tools or skills would you advise young professionals to use to navigate the workplace?
First of all, other than the virtues of integrity, doing the right thing, ensure that your employability is viable. Your employability is viable. And employability, I'm not talking like me who wants a salary, or it's even like him who gets money from entrepreneurship. It could be self-employment. So you must be able to work around your employability. And employability is to ensure that everything within you is right. Your technical capacity is right. Your integrity levels are perfect. Everything that works around you is okay. And on top of that, enjoy what you do. Enjoy what you do. Hold it with passion. Because where else could you be working? What else could you be doing? This is what God has given you. If you see a job like a small one, and then you are like, no, I don't have a job. I've got whatever you have, please enjoy it. Work around enjoyability and employability. Like, are you a person? Have you ever seen somebody who is not unemployed, who is unemployable? Have you? They walk in our midst. Somebody you are given, you say, no, that one, even for free, I won't take. Yes, so make sure that you work on your employability. Understand the technical bit. If you are in marketing, get to know how to smile, get to know how to talk to people. If you build your technical skills as a person, and then scan the environment, continuous learning that we've been told since morning on your field. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. So I've heard both focusing on the soft skills as well as the technical skills to be relevant in this navigating environment. Mr. To, if I were to ask you to describe what a 21st century entrepreneur would look like, what adjectives or what words would you use?
Innovation, continuous innovation will be the key, because when you look at the market as of now, everything is changing. Technology is changing as well. Today, you know, X, Y, tomorrow it's something else. So, but allow me to say something about what you asked the other panelists.
Yes, please.
About the ethical aspect. I think that's a very big challenge in business. And there are many challenges as well. I remember the first time when I went to Nigeria to expand, I had been invited by over 200 institutions to give the product. But when I met one big vice chancellor who influenced the rest of everyone, changed everything, and he told me, how much is your product? So I mentioned to him, and he said, add a zero at the end.
Oh, wow.
And then you bring me the balance. And then remember now, you're a businessman, you're trying to get the market. There is opportunity of losing 200 plus institutions. And there is this, and he said, I will make the payment immediately if you agree to that. So that night, I remember I had to change. I called my mentor. My mentor was very important. And he told me, don't. I changed my flight that night, and I left the country. So the next day, they looked for me, but they couldn't see me. And this was a very big project that we've been actually trying to put in place for many years and trying to put everything together. So in business, there are always challenges. Even locally here, you give an invoice to government. They ask, what is this? Our standard price is always constant, and they will always delay your payment because there is nothing that comes out of it. So navigating on those issues requires somebody that has very firm principle of ethical issues. You must know where you are, and honestly, we've lost a lot of business because of that. And in standing in our own principle, we've received much, much more. So you will never lack, actually, that's what I can say, if you stand on the right track of ethical. You don't want to be in the next office across here.
Because everyone has given the experience on ethics, it only makes sense that I also ask in terms of what struggles you've encountered at the workplace that challenge your faith.
Thank you. With police work, you'll have a lot. Because you'll walk down the street, you get a traffic police officer raising the hand, at the back of your mind you think, I have to part with something. One thing is that various challenges could test one's faith, especially corruption. And unfortunately, the community or the people have normalized corruption by baptizing them with very many names. Chai kidogo, kidu kidogo.
Cost of doing business. Cost of doing business.
Cost of doing business. Yeah, they have baptized them with very many names. And bribery and unethical behavior is a way they have normalized to overcoming problems. Getting things done the way they want, even if it is an awkward way, they want to stop at nothing but ensure that they get their demand done. Unethical behavior, corruption will not take you anywhere. Currently, at the National Police Service, Inspector General of Police, the Deputy Inspector General of Kenya Police, the Administration DIG, and other officers, we have embraced a service delivery centered police to the people. We are striving to ensure that we get the best service to the police. Where you walk into a police station, you don't say that you know Masengeli, or you know Mr. Kanja or Mr. Langat. You are served like any other Kenyans without you parting with anything or without you being known by so and so. Also, going ahead, we are digitalizing the police work, whereby it will make that meeting point, because this corruption happens especially when you meet with your client. In this regard, like soon and more than very soon, we'll be digitalizing the OP. And when the OP is digitalized, you will report a case at comfort of your seat, at your house. Just say, today, so and so, I'm reporting from this area that so and so has wronged me or has robbed me at this and this. Then the response will be there. Then because we want to nurture a crime-free society. A crime-free society because we are the servants. Mwananchi ndio mwenye nchi. We are just servants to serve and protect you by ensuring that you are served to your level best. You don't have anything or any problem in execution of your work at whatever cost. And also, we are trying as much as possible to ensure corruption-free society, because it has been normalized by the society with baptizing it with many names, and to some point forcing this police officer also to take something, and the law is very clear, the giver and the taker should take it to court. And here now puts us in an awkward situation whereby you have to uphold your integrity, honesty, and justice, because it will make you free. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We will turn quickly to the question and answer session, and I see there's some relevant questions, so I'll start with you, Elder Masengeli. There's one that asks, what is your biggest failure? And given an opportunity to revert back to that point in time, what could you have done differently?
The biggest failure?
Yes, your biggest failure.
Wow. This job is so dynamic because one thing for sure is that it's so challenging for me. My response in this question is that in life, all things are not just you get it the way you want. At some point, I've been a commander special forces for a long time, and it calls for very good planning. You plan very well to execute your work very well. To some point, when you lose one of your colleagues, you don't feel okay at any moment. When you remember very well, when the sun sets, that one you have to count that you have one lesser day to live. But at the sunset, you have a lot of expectations. As it at the sunrise, you have a lot of expectation. But at the sunset, you have a lot of experiences.
Yes.
But also, at the sunrise, you want to have some objectives done. You wake up in the morning, you want to go for a mission, you sit together, you draw, say this is the plan, this is the adversary, we are going for this war. Okay, you pray, you are 12. You go into the war zone, you come back, you are less by 3, you are less by 2. Then to you as a commander, you'll not fail it well because you think this guy should have survived. Might it be he is one of your finest in that field, but at some point you feel that you might have been the person who made this person to lose their life. But at the end of the day, we live knowing that at one point we'll have to die. And for your information, the officers don't fear dying. Because of the problems that they've passed through, they've known that they will have to die at one point. And dying is normal. What motivates the officers is that the injured one, that one who has a problem, how he is taken care of, the evacuation, the taken care of that one, the family that has remained behind. But one thing, most of the police officers are Christians nowadays because they know, they pray God, and they also believe and trust that one day they'll have to die because they know dust plus living breath is equals to living soul, minus living breath is equals to dust. And that's normal. But they strive so hard that one day, one time, when Jesus comes back, they're going to be among those ones who will meet him.
Thank you so much. I know that you have some questions you've been wanting to ask, so I'll give this chance for you to be able to ask questions directly to the panelist. If you can have a roaming mic, please. Some questions have been posted on Mentimeter, but I'll just give you a chance if you've posted there to ask.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Daisy Kwamboka. I'm a nurse. I work at Mathare Hospital. I have a question to Elder Masengeli concerning mental health. What strategies have you put at your place of work on police concerning their mental health, especially on high stress scenarios?
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions, and then please let us know whom you'd like to answer the question.
Good afternoon. My name is Isaac. I'm addressing my first question to Elder Masengeli.
I'm afraid we cannot hear you, so you may have to speak clearly.
I'm addressing my first question to Elder Masengeli and ask, what should you do when an order conflicts with what you believe in is the right thing to do? What?
What would you do when I think an order or instruction from your superior conflicts with your belief?
And then the other question is to Silato, what would you advise someone who already has a business and is employed? Should they quit the employment and focus on the business?
So the question is to you, someone is an entrepreneur and is also employed, so should they quit and focus on business, or should they stay employed? We'll take one last question.
My name is Bernard. I have 3 questions for all the speakers. So first to Elder Masengeli. We have situation, maybe you have been stopped by an officer and then you are...
Can I just request if you can move so that we can hear you clearly? We are struggling to hear you.
Okay, my question to Elder Masengeli. Okay, when maybe you're driving and then an officer finds you in a mistake, or maybe, and then asks you for some money or something, what's the right thing to do? Because sometimes some people will say that that's not your problem, you've been asked. So, okay. And then a second question to Sila. How will you give a value proposition to a client, or how do you ensure value proposition when you're pitching to a client about your services? And then lastly to Rose, same issue of integrity. When a client, something was mentioned that you give your quote for your product or your services, then a client asks for something on top. Same thing, somebody will say that it's not your problem. Is the person who's asking is the one who is infringing the company. For you, you're just giving the services. So if you're asked, the issue is not in you. So what will you say about that?
We'll take a pause there. Are you ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll start with the question that the sister asked from Mathare. One is that at our workplace, we have the structural faculties that deal with different areas. One, we have the medical team, and we have the counselors that take care of our officers on mental wellness that might have been from the war area or so on. And also, it keeps on monitoring. We have the access to all hospitals across the country to be attended to when there is a problem of health or any case of that. But just in short, we have our teams of counselors who are trained police officers and also civilians that we team up with to ensure constantly we look at the welfare of the police officers working within and without our borders to ensure their well-being, and also to counsel those officers who might have that trauma of maybe getting out of that area they have come from, or other activities like the Shakahola issue. We have the counselors, because of seeing that body day in, day out, it puts you also in a different scenario. The most invited cases in this republic are police officers, because they enforce law. And whenever you enforce law, the more the breakers. And whenever it's broken, you automatically invite a police officer. Police officer comes in at whatever scenario, so it depends with the strength and that level of that has aggravated of that harm or so on. But doing it day in, day out, they need to have counselors who we have the professional counselors within the police service. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest, when you get orders, we are in a country that is ruled by the democracy and rule of law. As a Christian and as a police officer, you do what you are supposed to do as per the law. And lastly, when you are driving along the highway and you are stopped by a police officer who happens to might be a traffic officer and says he wants money from you, then also ask him, money for what? Don't give, and he'll take you nowhere. Thank you very much.
Or could we be assuming that he actually committed a traffic offense?
And if you've committed a traffic offense, just accept, you call the process. As I had just said initially, that the richest wealth in this world is wisdom, as the strongest weapon is patience. But also, remember, security is your faith. So, if you have committed an offense, just follow through the process and assist this officer by paying maybe the penalty, because soon we'll also be introducing instant fines, because I know most of the things people fear going to the police cells. But soon than later, the instant fines will be on, so that you commit a traffic offense, you pay on the spot, you continue with your job. You commit an offense, the cameras catch you, you get a notification, you don't say, it will follow you. After 3 days, we say, hey guy, you committed this offense on such and such a date on this street, and you did not comply. Can you come and do it? You don't do it, you'll be arrested, you'll be taken to court of law.
Thank you so much. I will move to Mr. To. There was a question, I think 2 questions there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't get the names, but I will try. I think the first question was about you are currently working and you want to do business as well. So I will say that the reason why you want to try business is because you are not probably getting enough from your employment in terms of revenue. So you're looking at supplementing your salary. Now, I will say in business, if you want to do proper business, then there is always, like, I will put it as a binary. It's 0 or 1. It's either you are in business or you are in employment. But for a startup who will want to roll out to business, probably definitely you'll have to start with employment, but to your mind shifting towards entrepreneurship. I will always say that because there is this conception that in your own business, you will be waking up the time that you will want, many other sorts. Mind you, this other side is the vice versa. You don't have a sleep. You wake up very early. You don't know how you'll get the salaries for the next month, and everything is actually on your mind. So you'll actually be carrying more problems than you are when you're in employment. So shifting is good. It's better to start slow, but with the mind of moving directly towards that. But again, you have to have a strategy. If you really want to do business, what do you want to achieve? Do you really want to, are you in business because you are looking for supplement of salary? Or you want to sort a problem or a niche? So those two things you have to define. If it's about money, then I will say stay in employment. But if you want to solve a problem, then the best place is to do entrepreneurship, to start a business. The second question was about value proposition. I think we most, in the market, we always feel that the client or the user understands your product. In most cases, you have to do an additional work ahead to try and understand what is the need in the market. What is the need in the market versus what are the competitors providing in the market? And what are you coming in to provide the difference? Because you are not the first one, everyone is doing the same. If it's about internet service, there are many internet service providers. What unique selling proposition will you put up in place? What are you providing directly to the client at the end of it all? That way, then you will be able to provide a product. And then again, when you are pitching a product, of course, that you have to put a call for the sale. You have to understand what are the benefits of your product as opposed to the competitors. Actually, what differentiates your product from the existing product? That's what I'm trying to say. So unless you identify that, then your product will be the same as the rest of the competitors in the market, and you will not be solving anything. Thank you
for that on the product differentiation. And over to you, I think the question was on integrity, right? There was a question for you, FCPA Rose.
It was on product, and I think he has answered it.
Okay. Yes. There was a... Yes. Joseph, if you may please help him with the mic.
Yes, I asked about when you're quoting, maybe you're quoting a service or a product, and then you are asked to put something on top so that you'll be facilitated. Now somebody will say that that's not your problem, you just bring a service, and then the other person is the one who's squeezing his organization or something. So what's your take on that?
Tricky question. Couldn't you have asked the one who does the quotation, because I don't. And for finance people, by the time we receive, we actually interact with the documents. Most of the things have already been done. Procurement has been done. Everything, we just actually pay. Our work is to pay. So the other story of top up in terms of procurement happens elsewhere. So, but if you want me to talk generally in terms of government, because those happens, and it also takes two to tango. There is the one who is willing to add the zero, who doesn't want to take the freight out of the country, and is willing to add that zero into the business, and there's also the one who is out to do business. But what we need to understand is that Integrity Center is across the board. When you do that, you are actually a candidate. You are just lucky. If you are not caught, then you are not a candidate. But if you are caught by those stories, then you are a visitor of the building opposite our church here. So it's corruption, it's a criminal offense, it's not something that you can defend. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that answer. I think there's one last question, and then we'll look to wrap up, please.
I'm Joseph. My question is, you said we like what we do. I'm pretty sure there are many of us whose jobs are not likable, like they have every reason not to be liked. Do we go for therapy? Do we go for, how do we get to like these things? The other question is on faith at work. How is it to be religious? It is to all the panelists. Can you overdo religion, or to what extent are you safely religious in your workplace? Or, yeah. And the last one is on a conspiracy to Elder Masengeri. Is it true that the officers have a target of taking the money upstairs? I've grown up knowing that. Thank you.
Right. Please answer the question, I think, about liking jobs. He asked a question. I think you had talked about you enjoying your job. So his question is, what happens in the event that you're in a job that you do not like? How do you handle that, and what tools do you use?
Why are you taking it in the first place? You're also taking it because of money. And also, as you're taking it, remember that God is in control. Some of the jobs, that if you listen to even Erastus Mentor this morning, he said he was posted as an economist. He didn't want it, isn't it? Then he was taken to another place. He didn't like it as such. Then he saw an opportunity. Then he went in. It could be a path that God is actually defining for yourself. It's only that you are denying. And if you deny, you are going to be in Babylon way longer than you could have accepted and moved on and looked for ways of improving yourself. So if you are in any job for money, get to understand how do you navigate out of it to be where you want to be. You are not there by accident. That one I know, and I can underline it. You're not in that job by accident. What is it that God wants you to learn out of that job? Get to understand. First of all, don't blankly say, I don't like this job, I don't like this job. And then you are waking up every morning, I don't like it. Then all those windows of opportunities, they will be opening and you will never see them. If you are there, recognize the hand of God. Because how many of you have gotten, when you're looking for a job, you don't get, and when you're about to get a job, you get like 3 opportunities at the same time? Mm-hmm. That is how it happens. And then you choose one. So this one that you have chosen, like it, love it to the extent that you are moving to the next one. You actually have no option if you are there. Because if you are not, then the disservice is not to the employer, but to yourself as an individual. Do your best. That's what I say. This journey is not straightforward. It's a road. Inaenda hivi. So just follow the road as it goes. Enjoy it as you go along the way. That's what I could advise.
Okay, thank you. There was a second question. I'd like it to be directed to Mr. To, and then Elder Masengeli will take the last one. You asked about religiosity or being over-religious at the workplace or even as an entrepreneur. So maybe you can tackle that one. How do you handle it?
Okay, I can go first. Okay. So I think our religion is known globally, and there are norms that we are known for. There are things that we are known we cannot do. They even know that we are not drinking tea, those things that has happened. In business, I have actually received business because of my religion. There's one customer who said, I remember we were in conference in Lusaka, and I got one of the organizers of the conference. I didn't know that he was the chair of an institute. He said, because of Silas, who is not around today, and he mentioned that he's going to church, let's consider him for a privilege. And I got 35 institutions in Zambia. It's just because of proclaiming that, yes, this is your faith. There's nothing else you can do. But most importantly, to your side, what are you doing in your religion to be known outside there? Are you just here just to be known like you're an Adventist? Are you impacting knowledge to others? Are you making a change to someone else who probably not an Adventist or even who is an Adventist out there? So those are the things that from your side you have to critically analyze and make a judgment. I think that's
Thank you. I think then there was one final question directed to Elder Masengeli.
Thank you.
Yes.
I hope, if I remember, the question is if it is true that the money that we are being collected on the road are trajected upward. Was it so?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. One thing, and it's a fact. Watu wanaokota pesa kwa barabara ni ukweli. Na pesa zingine zinachukuliwa. But it is by their own desire. That's the reason why many occasions you've had, they have been arrested. They have been arraigned in court. Most of them have been sacked because of that bad behavior. unless juu mbinguni ama nijua wapi wanapeleka. Because me, I'm at the top, I'm among the guys on the top, but I don't see them. The fact is that do not give. And nobody will do anything. Just will take its way forward. And as I just said, be patient. Patience is the strongest weapon that you can ever have. The unlucky thing in Kenya, we are late. Whenever you get to a stage, these people are going to Nairobi, they are going to Mombasa, you'll rather enter the vehicle that is headed to Mombasa, but in real sense, it is a disguise, it's going to Eldoret, because you are late. You stand beside the vehicle till it is full. You want to enter when it is already full. But you are the first person. Who else will come to fill that vehicle if you cannot be among the first ones? So, be patient. And patience makes kings out of slaves. That is a fact. Because desires also make slaves out of kings. I want to urge the young generation to be very confident, to have patience, and also to have wisdom, because wisdom is one rich wealth that one will never have.
Can I assume that's your parting shot, or do you still have more?
No, it's yet to come.
Okay, I would like to give you a minute for your parting shot.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity as well.
All right, you're welcome.
I want to thank the young generation, the professionals that we have, because this time around the world, nations and states do not only depend on their strength, but also in the strength of prosperity of their people. So the innovations, the work you are doing, the skills you've gotten, they are all meant to empower you for a better future, because you are the future. I have maybe 1 or 2, 3 things I leave with you. Take this journey of career as a calling. Take it as a calling, whether it's technological, whether it's educational, whether it's health. But take it to be a sacred place of God. You know, whatever you do, embrace God. Start the day, start with God, finish with God. At all times, there is nothing beautiful as assisting one another, being kind. I asked a question to the moderator and she answered perfectly when I asked her about which is stronger, water or the rock, the cleft. Then she answered me, it's water. And truly speaking, water is stronger, because that hardness, that rigidity does not make the rock stronger. Instead, it makes it weaker. But with the flexibility, the softness of water, it can traverse and go all over, everywhere. I would say that as our young professionals, you are just preparing for shaping the world. And the world depends on you. But as you do that, be kind, be humble, and assist one another as you grow up.
Thank you so much for that very words of wisdom that we will take with us. To Mr. To, what would your parting shot look like?
Yeah, I think as Elder Msengelia said, we are in the world of changing dynamics. Every time things change and it's erupt. I will always say for young professionals, be equipped with the market skills so that when the time comes, you are the only one with the skills in the market. Unless we do that, then we'll resolve back to our continuous problems, and we'll always keeping complaints and saying, government, hakuna kazi, kila left, right, center. Business is there, outside there. Opportunities are there. If I am to go back 10 years ago, I will have not been what I am as of now. I will be somebody different continuously, probably maybe Elon Musk. There are things that are changing in the market, honestly, that requires adaptability, it requires new innovation, it requires honest and open mindset to take up the challenges. We should not be complaining as youth about opportunities that are not there in the market. They are always there. If you choose to be in employment, do it with all your heart, put all your efforts, and you will be rewarded in employment. And if you choose to be in business, put up strategies, start early, and you'll be rewarded accordingly. Thank you for that.
All right, thank you so much for that. And to you, FCPA Rose.
Thank you. My parting shot comes from the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 12, that says, let no one despise your youth, and that includes yourself. Please don't despise your youth. Instead, live as an example for your community of believers through the word. Some say through speech, what comes out of your mouth, through conduct or spirit, how you hold yourself, guarding yourself through the guardrails that have been provided by as a Christian life, by love and charity. Love. You can't love yourself. Love is outward looking. You need to love other people the way you are linking and connecting with the community. Have faith, and when you're talking about faith, know that fear and faith don't walk together. They cannot be in the same room. They are mutually exclusive. Where there is fear, then there's no faith. Where there's faith, then there's no fear. And lastly, you live by purity, by ensuring that you abstain and run away. And I want to underline the word run away from all appearances of evil. We are human beings. We cannot be anywhere near the devil's level. So if you see a devil, please do what? Run. Don't stand, don't engage. Run from all that as an appearance of evil. And for sure, God will bless you all your days of your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that parting shot. I'm going to borrow my parting shot from Elder Masengeli. And it says, as we depart, I challenge you, dare to be both competent and courageous. The world needs professionals who do not just climb ladders, but build bridges, bridges of hope, equity, and grace. May God bless you all.